This guy top everyone is good. So I've just finished watching Academy Dreams. Academy Dreams, Leeds United. Very good documentary, and I'm going to give you my thoughts right now. So yeah, I think for me, just off the bat, what the documentary did really well was that focus on individuals and how an individual can help collective to come together collectively to push, right? Um, Development. That's what I thought this documentary did really well. It started off with a bit on Jacko, and I'll go on each individual. So for me, Jacko is an absolute credit to the club. Seriously, the stuff he does for the club, I think the type of person he is, how positive he is. It showed. It did change the room. Halftime team talks, start of the game team talks, and honestly, they're inspiring at times. Some of the stuff he said it was all about mentality and how to progress as a player, how to get the most out of the game, motivation to make them want to win for the badge, for the club, but also a good tactical side of it. And listening to him speak to those young players, you could see the players and they adored him. They were inspired by him. They played for him. He made them play for themselves, for the club. And watching Jacko go about his work and the way he did things is honestly inspiring. As he's a local lad as well. I think it's really good that there's someone like that in the team that can identify with the city more than anyone, and it's instilling that confidence and that style of connecting to Leeds that's going to make these players succeed at this club, and he's perfect for that. Not only that as well, I think he's a really good person, and he'd be a really good guy to have around young players. And now the fact that it showed his progression to the first team really shows how he can be that person that connects the youth players getting to the first team, knowing they have him there to support them and back them is going to be vital in the development of these young players, in my opinion. And you really got a sense of that watching this. The part on Jacko was really good, and I enjoyed all of his input, everything he said. I listened really deeply to because I thought he was really good. So he's a credit, and he's going to be vital for these players' development when they get to that first team and transitioning as well. So having a player around him, having Jesse Marsh having him around is going to be very important because he's extremely respected by a lot of those young players. They did a nice little bit on Joe Gelhardt. He went to Liverpool, obviously where he's from. It showed where he's from, humble beginnings, where he used to kick a ball. Did the same with Greenwood as well, humble beginnings. And it's really nice to see. It's refreshing. You see the glitz and the glam of all these footballers, but just seeing Joe Gelhardt and Greenwood go back to where they're from, just normal lads. Sam Greenwood, does he still live at home, or he drives? He lives near home and he drives to Leeds, or vice versa. But he's a family guy. He loves his family and he likes to be around his family. Same with Joffrey as well. Just to see them stood there, in the neighbourhood where they're from, talking to the neighbours. Joffrey was talking to his neighbour who had glowing things. And it made you realise, it made you think, they're just guys, they're just lads, they're just young lads. And that's the ethos, that's Jacko. That's Jacko. And players like Phillips and Creswell instilling that you are a Leeds player, you represent the city. It's a proud city. You've got to represent them well. You can't have this massive ego thinking you're bigger than the club or the city. Because Leeds United and the city is its own, There's not 2-3 massive clubs in Leeds, it is Leeds United. You're representing the city as well as the club. And seeing Joffrey, go back home and stuff like that, and just really breaking down him as an individual and Sam Greenwood and how normal they are and how they're just lads who just want to play football. There's none of this rubbish glitz glam stuff. They're just lads that want to kick a ball about and score some goals. And that's what I got from it. Especially those two and the other guys as well. Nolan Kenner had a little bit on his background, which is really inspiring. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I want you guys to watch it. It was really inspiring, his story. Same with Cree. There's a bit on Cree. Cree was quite a big part of the documentary of him being one of the best young players. And I really like his attitude. I really like his attitude. He's got a confidence about him, but it's an understanding and a respect to the coaches as well. He wants to play football, but he also understands the journey is going to take longer than he would like, and he's patient about it. He wants to work for it. He doesn't want it given. He wants to work for that opportunity. And I like that mentality. Crazy did a bit of Crazy and his dad, which was really nice. Just taking mick out of each other, laughing with each other, and all that. And him, for me, I want to talk about Creswell's little interaction with Calvin. They played a game of snooker or pool, I think it was. And they had a little talk, and Calvin was big brother. He was the big brother. He's acting like the big brother, and it was really nice. It was a nice dynamic. And he was talking about what it's like to play for Leeds and what Creswell has to do to reach that next level, and how he needs to be patient and work for it. He needs to play. And they had a really good conversation, and it made me think about the next generation and development and progression. And for me, seeing how Calvin acted and how he was, because you could tell how he was a role model. A lot of them said it. They looked at him and thought, I want to be that next. That's going to be me next. The lad from the academy that made it big as well. And all these lads look up to him and they want that. And they talk about how they'd speak to him, he'd give them advice. And now he's gone. There's a big hole for these guys, your Joffeys, your Greenwoods, your Creswell, to prove and show the other players there is a chance. There is a big chance here. Now they are that kind of level of leader now to the players coming through that transition. And, we talk about playing styles. Jesse's all about transitions. But also in terms of mental development and growing as a person, as a player, it's all about transitions and having a smooth and effective transition in every way. And it's really nice to listen to the players. There's players like Bate, McGurk, that I chatted. Mary Miller had a bit as well. Hielder. And they're all just great lads, honestly. You can go watch it. They're all just great lads. Talking to the fans. Hielder's very confident. Mary Miller seems very quiet, quite shy, but there's a deep confidence in there. Same with McGurk, who seems like the most relaxed guy ever. He seems like a great laugh, to be fair. Lewis Bates seems like a laugh, but he's very serious and he seems very focused on what he wants. And all these different mentalities are now you're going to see flourish as individuals. I hope we do, because they're all great guys and they need to just do what it takes to push that next level, like Gelhardt is, like Somerville is, like Greenwood is. They've got to take that mantle now. But yeah, it was interesting. The whole dynamic between Phillips and the young players was very interesting. And I really hope Creswell, now on loan, can be an inspiration to those. I want to talk about, it goes into the loan moving and all that, and how Somerville had a discussion with Marcelo. Whatever that discussion was, even though it did slip up and he did say argument, it wanted him to stay and he ended up staying. And I think all these young lads, they're just humans and they just want to play football. I think we do forget that sometimes. People on social media sending them abuse, sending drama abuse. They're just lads. And another thing, I'm going to talk about mental health a second. We're talking about Mary Miller when he moved into his new flat and he was by himself. And how that could affect you. Especially when you've not played well and you're coming home, you're seeing some negative comments on social media. They're at home in this shell by themselves. And that's going to get to you. And this is probably why Drame took Leeds out of his thing, went off social media. Because these players, you've got to understand, they're young lads. A lot of them won't be living with the families. They'll move here by themselves at 17, 18 years old. That's not easy, guys. And the vulnerability of them really showed for me, and how impactful fans can be. Even at the grounds, on social media, they can impact a lot of things. And it really showed in this documentary. But yeah, that whole the player side of it, the player discussion, and the development of the players, the mentality of the players, the talks to the players about where they come from, what it's like to play for Leeds, very good. There's some great, honest interviews as well. They weren't just prop for the club, they were honest about how hard it is. Some of them said they struggled. Sam Greenwood's great. Sorry, Marcelo called him over for the first team. He said within the first session, he'd keep giving the ball away. A few minutes later, he'd give the ball away many times. He couldn't get the drill. Marcelo sent him straight back. And it's that learning curve of understanding that's the level you need to get at. You think you're good here? That's the level. That's the difference between a good youth player and an elite youth player. And Greenwood's now broke into that first team, so he's got over that mentality. That mentality of this is what I have to do, and he's achieved that. And now he's got to push again to establish himself. And that was a good theme. All the young players were talking about how they want to play for Leeds. It might not happen. It might not be Leeds. They might move on to a different club, but they want that level of football, and they want it to be at Leeds. Creswell was talking about that. Obviously, then it went into January, and Matteo Joseph was brought in again. Like him, great young guy, good attitude, a player that is attracted by the fact that Leeds play youth players a lot. And this is a big thing that don't get spoke about enough for me. When we are that club that play all these young players are going to want to come. The best talents in Europe will want to come because you are that close from Premier League. And if you've got that mentality where you think, I could play in the Premier League, young players will come here every day of the week. Hence why we've got JB, hence why we've got Perkins, hence why we've got Matteo Joseph, William Yonto. Because they're the type of talents that want to play in the Premier League. And we've shown we give you a pathway, we will give you a chance. Also, doing this documentary is exposure. Young players will watch this in Europe and think, I want to be there, that looks good. The whole vibe of the club, Jackson, the other coaches that came in, I want to be part of that. And I think that was really well brought across. And the final part for me was when Marcelo left. I did a little bit on it, and honestly, it broke my heart seeing Marcelo leave and give his little wave. It was horrible. The players went back to see him, but one interesting bit was in the changing rooms, and Joffrey was talking about if he feels good, and Joffrey went, "No, I feel terrible." And he was talking about how he was injured and he carried on playing because that was what was expected. And he said he's not happy, and it really makes you think a lot of these players, even these are the young, hungry ones, they must have been done. For whatever reason, they were done mentally and physically, they were just done. A lot of them just couldn't take it. They just couldn't take it. And it's shown in the documentary with players like Joffrey, they just couldn't take it. And what happened was when you talk about how are you now, Marsh came in, and Joffrey said, I'm so happy, I'm much happier. So whatever happened, because the results or the energy and the feeling they had inside them, that they were not right, they didn't feel right. And of course, this would have been the same in the first team. And when it showed the transition of Jesse Marsh, was instantly energy, belief. They often spoke about, I think Lewis Bate said Bielsa was this stubborn genius, and that is perfect explanation. He is stubborn, very stubborn, but a genius. And they all had respect for him. They all showed massive respect for him. They would never disrespect Marcel Bielsa, none of them. So they all spoke about how they adored everything he did for him. But they were done, and they needed something to change. And they also spoke about when Jesse Marsh came in, and the whole feel around the club was positivity. And there's a little training session they showed a little bit of it, and Jesse Marsh doing his speech, and it was a more nastier side of Jesse Marsh. You know, you see this high charismatic guy, but he was telling players, you have to do this, we have to do this. And it was good to see a different side of Jesse Marsh. It also showed how he can affect young players, you know, how he's used his mindset and his mentality to infect the players with that. And it was really good. And it really showed how Jesse Marsh positively changed everything around the club, to be honest. And you know, people say, oh, but this and that. Go watch it, and I promise you'll feel the same. He's a great guy, he really is. I'd love to be an analyst or something for him. I'd love it. That'd be my dream job, seriously. He's an incredible person. And he seems like a great guy that listens to everyone and respects everyone. That's the same with the players. They seem to have that same mentality of respect, understanding, and it's the whole ethos of the club that feels good. Just some of the fans don't feel great. but the whole club feels good. So why wouldn't the fans? Because of the results. But there's more to it than that. Youth development is extremely important in football. Anyone that says you need to buy for the here and now, no. That's not the only thing that you get success from. Signing young players, Victor said in the thing, signing young players, Victor said this, is not a replacement. We got William Gnonto because Gakpo fell through. The other one fell through. So we moved Gnonto forward. That's it. It wasn't a replacement. Investing in youth is vital. You get young players from every other club. It's more attractive because it's at another club, right? But we have them here. And we are trying to be that club that has them. So we don't have to go buy them, pay 10, 15, 20 million for them. We already have them. These are the guys that we believe could push to the first team next year. These are the guys that are the future of our club. And the future will be the present soon. And if they're good enough, they will be part of it and they will push us forward because they all have high ceilings. These are excellent young players with elite mentalities. Now they have to show that even more elite mentality. And that's the challenge. And the documentary is really good in rounding that all off, I think. Showing how everything the 21s do, if they even said it, he don't care where they finish. He said that, he doesn't care. Their job is to make the first team better. Rad said they got relegated, feel sorry for them, but doesn't matter. Their job is to improve as individuals to get to the first team and make the first team better. And that is the role of the 21s. And hopefully that's going to happen a lot this season, and I'm looking forward to it. Look, it was a great documentary. I strongly advise people watching it just to get inside the club, different characters, Matt Jackson, Jesse Marsh, the players, some of the fans. Yeah, even a bit on Victor there. Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And it ended with the three, Sam, Joffy and Cree, Somerville, doing the contracts, which is a statement of saying, these are the three we really believe in. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it this season, and I can't wait. And the documentary's really good. I would strongly advise going to watch it. It's a good little documentary to watch on Leeds United and our youth academy. It's putting our brand out there. It's good. There's nothing negative about it, even though people will make things. But anyway, I'd appreciate a sub and a like, please. In these difficult times with no football, you're all legends, and let me know in the comments what you thought about it if you've watched it. Yeah. Peace.